Honda worked with Prins, called upon Prins technical resources to help develop this injector, because it's what they use on their CNG Honda Civic. And in return, as part of that arrangement, they allowed Prins the exclusivity to use these injectors in the alternative fuel industry outside of the Honda family of vehicles. So that's given us the advantage in the States to use the Keen injectors, and that's probably the largest contributor to the million-mile system, because what we find with other injectors in the industry is they do not last, some cycling through an obsolescence of as little as 60,000 miles. Well, with a private individual, that's not so big a deal. In a fleet environment, a 60,000 mile failure on injectors is not going to be. Well, what if we have our vehicles all converted to propane? What then? We literally have the ability, it's not 65% of the components, but the ECU and the fuel rails and the injector modules, that's all the same for a natural gas system. So instead of a reducer, we trade that for a CNG regulator, and then all the hardware, the plumbing, back to the tank, and the tank have to be changed, and you can convert the vehicle to run on CNG instead of LPG, still leaving the harness, all these components are the same, the computer, and the injector rails. So like I said, you really are just the hardware from the tank to the engine compartment, and a regulator instead of a reducer. And that's...
On older propane systems, when you had a carbureted system, you had to set that carburetor up to either run gasoline or propane, or run them both, but neither one really well. Now with this newer system, when you're running on gasoline, you're running as efficiently as you possibly can on gasoline. When you're running on propane, you're running as efficiently as you possibly can on propane, so you get the best of both fuels. Generally, we try and match the fuel capacity on propane to the fuel capacity on gasoline. This one has a 24-gallon tank on the propane and has about a 22-gallon tank on the gasoline. All the valves, this is a little bit different design from the one inside, but all the valves are again contained in a vapor-sealed unit. And
this is a standard small fleet system. It's a 1,000-gallon water gallon tank. It'll hold 800 propane gallons. The system comes with the complete pump, motor, and the dispensing unit. This particular unit has an electronic meter in it. It is also capable of having a card system for up to 50 vehicles that you can electronically monitor and download into your back office software. The nozzle is, again, like we mentioned, it's just like a gasoline system. You're very familiar with it. Take it off. There's the section on the truck where you screw it into it. It was mentioned that all the propane tanks have the OPD valves in them, so you fill it up till it shuts off. When it's done, disconnect, put it back on the hanger.
The gentleman who came previously to us, propane-powered unit. The system is very similar. The technology, we use the Ford engine and Roush Clean Tech. Everybody's familiar with the name Roush from the racing. It's basically the racing team, Roush Engineering. They've partnered with Bluebird and Ford, and this is a dedicated propane unit. People don't seem to understand that school buses, we have to meet a whole different set of standards other than any other vehicle here. One of those standards is fuel system integrity. So consequently, we are very limited in where we can mount our tanks, how they can be mounted to pass that certification. It is also one of the reasons that makes using a natural gas powered unit is not feasible for the school bus industry unless you have more money, you know, to do it. Quick example, this vehicle as it would sit is, let's say, be $100,000 in today's dollars. To go to a natural gas powered unit, we would have to go to about $160,000 because we have to go to a rear engine type unit because it's the only unit in which we have enough space to mount the tanks as they explained earlier, because the CNG tanks are, you know, about 3 times the size of these. So we do need a certain part. Fuel economy, again, this is a rather new product for us. We started demonstrating in the Pittsburgh area last March and April. We did a sweep of most of the major clients within the Western Pennsylvania area and have started to develop a good bit of interest in this product.
You're not charging it. So
Turn my PTO on, start pumping gas.
School bus safety standards, you can't have a system that bleeds pressure, not around the kids.